Going, you guys. We are going to be talking about cover letters today. I get so many questions, and I also see people on the kind of the social media posts that I like to comment from other people. People are asking them about cover letters. So we're going to cover it. My name is Lisa Edwards. I am the exclusive career. I am the CEO and all the other things of the exclusive career, working primarily with clients in two areas. One are folks in job search transition who need not only the marketing documents world class, but also strategy and tools slash skills to land their next dream job. And then the other folks I work with are people who aren't necessarily looking to change jobs in the immediate future, but who want to move up the corporate ladder and want to do it in a very intentional way that addresses areas that they might have blind spots in. So, as a reminder, my other podcast is The Exclusive Career, and that is the one that is more focused on executive leadership development, those kinds of things. In last week's episode number 37, I talked about how to provide your direct reports with what I call excavation coaching rather than surface coaching. So, this is where you are focusing on the employee's underlying beliefs that are resulting in problem behavior. It is a way to permanently address issues rather than kind of putting a patch or a band-aid on them. All right, we're going to talk about my thoughts about cover letters in 2026. I covered this topic initially way back in episode 77. I called it cover letter yes or no. My overall stance on cover letters since that time really hasn't changed, even since the first episode of this podcast. Unless the posting specifically tells you not to provide a cover letter, which I have not seen, not saying it hasn't happened, I haven't seen it. Do it. It can be a really good additional kind of a quiver in your bow. Is that what they call it when you're doing arrows, bow and arrow stuff? It's another tool for you, and I'm going to talk about why. Virtually all applicant tracking systems will allow you to attach additional documents. It may not say cover letter specifically, but it will allow you to. And my recommendation is always to do it as a PDF. And then there are some systems that can actually read it, which I'll mention a little bit later. And they can actually make an assessment of you as the candidate based in part on that cover letter. I want to give you three reasons not to submit a cover letter. Number one, you don't have enough interest in the position to take the time to do that. You don't want to customize it. Maybe you have a generic cover letter and you send it out. If you aren't willing to take the time to make that letter specific, it will work against you. You will do yourself more harm than good. My recommendation is don't apply to that position at all. One of the things I teach my clients is the criteria for you to apply online where there is the most competition and you're going to have the most difficulty getting the attention of the decision maker is to, number one, be really excited about the job. Number two, be at least in the neighborhood of 80% qualified with no major red flags if you aren't qualified for everything they're asking for. And then be willing to take the time to customize both your resume and your cover letter. Do that and the plus one approach, which I've talked about many a time, or don't do it at all. So either I'm going to go all in or I'm not going to go in at all because then I can take that time and use it more effectively. So I would add, in addition to, hey, if I'm not interested, I'm not going to bother with a cover letter. I'm going to kind of just throw this up against the wall. I would add that if you have errors in grammar, spelling, punctuation, any of that in the cover letter, you are also doing yourself more harm than good. So you want to make sure that that cover letter is as error-free as hopefully your resume is. So the second reason not to submit a cover letter is you are not providing the reader with any new information. If all you're doing in that cover letter is rehashing the exact verbiage of your resume, you're just kind of, I don't know, maybe summarizing your resume, you aren't helping yourself. The cover letter gives you a great opportunity to write in prose, write in a less formal manner than the resume. This is a chance to talk about a lot of things, which I'm going to talk about, that can't be talked about in the resume and that need to be talked about. So that's the second reason you're not providing the reader with any new information. And then third, don't just tell them how you would improve their company because that kind of makes you come across as a know-it-all. And the appropriate place for that is in the interview. Now you can talk about, and I recommend that you say something like, based on my research, it seems like your company is expanding in APAC. Here, and then you talk about your experience in expanding the APAC market. So you show that fit, but you're not saying you're doing a really terrible job of growing in APAC and let me be the solution. That's not going to go over big. So those are the reasons not to. Here are the reasons to. And as I said at the outset, my default is to include a cover letter. So these four situations, and there may be others, but I wanted to give you four where you really must include a cover letter. Number one, if you have a personal connection or a referral to that position, there's no place to put that in the resume. Mention the person that has referred you, give their title if they're internal, whatever's appropriate. So that's number one. Number two, you have a connection to the company, such as you worked there before. So you would be a Boomerang employee. Maybe you had an internship there earlier in your career. Perhaps you are a unique, I'm going to say a unique user of their product or service. In other words, if you were applying for a job at Amazon, telling them I order from Amazon every week, it's not going to differentiate yourself. So you want to think about kind of what can I say that is different, that is unique, and you would include that. The third thing is you are making a pivot to a different job function or industry. So I've defined pivot a many a time. You're staying in one thing. You're either staying in your job function and pivoting out of the industry, or you're staying in the same industry and pivoting out of your job function. And the cover letter then gives you that opportunity to walk the reader through this decision because otherwise there's going to be an apparent disconnect that they may not understand and you may get discarded by the applicant tracking system. And then fourth, you believe there will be an obvious objection to your candidacy. So maybe you're applying for what seems like a lower job title. Maybe you are willing to work at a different geographic region. That's a really great place to say, hey, my parents have recently retired and moved to Fort Myers, and I want to be near them. So I'm looking in the Southwest Florida area, whatever it is. Here's how I approach writing a cover letter. So I'm going to give you some examples. When I am writing for my client, I have already identified their brand attributes in the intake process. What makes them different? What do they bring to the table that no one else will be able to? As I have written their resume. So when I write the cover letter, I take three of those brand attributes that are most applicable to the kinds of jobs they're going to be looking for, and I create a paragraph for each of those three things. I am not repeating what is in their resume verbatim. Oftentimes, I am reconstituting facts. So let's say the person is in sales. I might, and when you think about the resume, it's going to be here's the sales results from company A that I worked at, here are the sales results from company B, company C. When I'm writing that cover letter, I might take, one of my, because I give a heading for each of the three paragraphs, and one might be, consistent record of sales success. And I might say something like, throughout multiple sales experiences, I have achieved, and then I'll give some numbers that are like, rather than saying at this job it was this number, I would say, as much as, and it would be the high number, right? So I would pick and choose, kind of weaving a narrative of all my sales roles together. I hope that makes sense. All right, so I pulled a couple of examples from clients, and I took, of course, identifying information out. This first one, the client is applying for jobs in global programs strategy. So the three paragraphs were, and I'll give you those. And when I say paragraph headings, it's just the beginning of the paragraph, and I put it in bold lettering. So this client, it was strategic leadership. The second one was growth. And the third one was people management. And this is one where you might want to get the notes to see these, right? But hopefully you can kind of get an idea from listening. All right, so strategic leadership is the first paragraph. Here's what it says. Throughout the 8 years I have been with Company X in multiple customer success roles, I have displayed the ability to, and then I've got these bulleted, develop and execute highly effective healthcare strategies that have delivered transformational impact, research, collect, analyze, and act upon data to improve the client experience, enhance services and service delivery, and eliminate/minimize roadblocks to utilization of services. Next bullet. Lead cross-functional teams to implement new technologies, resolve complex problems, grow revenue, streamline processes, and enhance client satisfaction. Second paragraph was growth. Here's what it says. I currently have a single client representing a significant percentage of Company X's total revenue. I stepped into this role in 2020 as a result of exceptional success with previous clients, and I have continued to exceed expectations. We've grown the account by more than 56% in that time, including 35 million with the launch of a novel in-home care solution. And then I actually made a second paragraph for the growth. In this and earlier roles, I have consistently earned 9 out of 10 net promoter scores by providing exceptional responsiveness, increasing utilization, and identifying cost savings opportunities. As a result, my client realizes a 1.51 to 1 ROI from our services. And the third paragraph was people management. One of the greatest satisfactions I derive from my work is the opportunity to coach, mentor, and otherwise assist in developing my direct reports and others. From technical skills to soft skills to learning how to advocate for themselves, I am highly effective in both formal and informal professional development. While the flat organizational structure of Company X has only afforded me one direct report, I have extensive experience in influential leadership. I picked it because I thought it was a really good one. And that last paragraph gave an opportunity because she doesn't have a lot of direct employee leadership in this current company for the reason that I stated. So I wanted to explain that. Here's another example. And this client was seeking a role as Senior Director of Strategic Market Intelligence and Growth Strategy. And her 3 paragraphs, or his, were transforming the market intelligence function, strategic advisor, and identifying opportunities. Here's the first paragraph. Transforming the market intelligence function. At both Brand A and Brand Z, I was tasked with standing up the analytics function as a business driver rather than a reactive data gathering function. To achieve this, I brought together key stakeholders from across the organizational landscape, hired highly skilled teams, and introduced systems and processes to deliver mission-critical information to decision makers at lightning speed. Turning the market intelligence function into an organization's mandatory hub has facilitated enhanced planning, improved marketing ROI, and significantly decreased time to insight. Next paragraph, strategic advisor. My ability to transform the analytics function could only be achieved with an executive presence, strong business acumen, and the ability to translate complex data into audience-specific, easily digestible chunks. My ability to connect with people, gain their buy-in, and deliver what they need when they need it has been a hallmark of my career. I am equal parts knowledge fountain and highly approachable colleague. Great paragraph, if I do say so myself. And the final, identifying opportunities. Throughout my career, I have specialized in transforming raw data into high resolution insights that go far beyond standard reporting. At Brand A, I didn't just track the what of behaviors, I uncovered the why behind their behavior patterns. By identifying these hidden drivers and untapped opportunities, I enabled the organization and its partners to pivot from broad marketing to hyper targeted campaigns based on specific consumer behaviors. And to be clear, it occurred to me as I was writing that I kind of plopped that right in the middle. So let me kind of frame the whole thing out for you. I am not a fan of addressing cover letters. It's kind of old school because number one, a lot of times you can't find out who it is. And then number two, even if you are addressing it to the right person, others will see it and it won't be addressed to them. So I don't do any kind of salutation. There are exceptions to that. Sometimes somebody is sending something via an email that is going just to one person and they know that person, whatever. Yeah, sure, go ahead and address it. But by and large, I just start right in. I have an intro paragraph that says something like, with and I'll have like three things that make them very qualified for the position. So with experience in blah, 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 and blah, 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 I am confident my leadership skills and technical abilities would make me a strong candidate for the position of whatever it is, job title, with the company name. And then they have their three. So there's that. That's the first paragraph. Then these three kind of guts paragraphs. And then I have some wrap up at the bottom that talks about their fit with the organization, showing that they've done their homework and why you're an excellent fit. So I want to end this one up with kind of help you to understand the difference between the resume, kind of the purpose of the resume and the cover letter, and the way they're laid out. So in terms of format, resume operates in bullet points, fragmented sentences, incomplete sentences. Cover letter, full sentences, paragraphs, written in prose. The focus of the resume is career history, technical skills, branding up at the top, whereas the focus of the cover letter is your future potential, your soft skills, some of those things that don't really fit well into the resume. The tone of the resume is very formal, it's very objective. The cover letter should be more, it's still professional, but more personal. And then finally, the focus of the resume, the goal of the resume is to prove that you are qualified, make it through the applicant tracking system, show up as a highly qualified candidate for the role. Whereas the cover letter proves that you are the right choice for the job. I hope that has been helpful to think about cover letters. Yes or no? My answer is yes. And I'll see you back here in 2 weeks on this podcast. And next week, check me out over on the exclusive career podcast. Take care.